Hey, Grandma, how are you doing?
I'm good. Remember the red ginseng enterprise that I'm owning? It became quite big and I wanted to hear some advice.
Oh, WeChat Pay is on trend these days. They do teaching sessions and you can even register your organic red ginseng in a digital gift as well. Oh, even better, they provide your financial guidance and prevent any frauds. It is quite simple and easy, so don't worry.
Oh, okay. Love you. I'll try it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to present a case of We Add, We Attract. We are Team Korea representing South Korea. My name is Jimin Lee, joined by amazing colleagues Chen Lee, Jiun Jang, and Yoonji Lee. The win-win relationship between WeChat Pay and the SMEs is to be formed. While the current challenges of WePay Chat are the SMEs are pessimistic. Thus, as consultants, we suggest WeChat Bridge, We Safeguard, We Global strategies in consideration of growth and market share of WeChat Pay, number of partnership with SMEs and customers satisfaction rate, digital gift turnover, and user retention time.
First, we would like to analyze the market share of China's mobile payments. While the number of active users utilizing mobile payments is increasing day by day, over 90% of the market share is owned by Alipay and WeChat Pay, with Alipay leading the market. Although WeChat Pay is falling behind with its market share compared to Alipay, these two firms are very different in terms of their characteristics, and both possess market power in their own fields they pursue. WeChat Pay is more applied in social scenarios, given that WeChat is a multi-purpose messaging, social media, and mobile payment app. As payment being one of the many functions in WeChat, it is often used when transferring money to friends or family in message box, sending lucky money to contacts, paying utility or phone bill, and in everyday transactions. On the other hand, Alipay is used frequently when dealing with money itself, putting its emphasis on e-commerce payment and financial services. Since the emphasis where each company puts is distinct, there is much room for WeChat Pay to grow as the leading company in the industry. The spread of COVID-19 has impacted the way of payment. According to a report from China Banking and Insurance News 2020, the number of transactions made by mobile payment was 22.4 million in the first quarter of 2020 in China, up 187% from 2019. Especially payments via QR codes scanned with their mobile phones over using cash or bank cards increased dramatically. According to China Internet Network information, 8.74 million new mobile payment users were added between March and December 2020. Alipay and WeChat Pay were also both impacted by the pandemic. Alipay's gross profit increased from 28% from 2019 to 2020, and WeChat Pay also increased its gross profit from 167,533 in 2019 to 221,532 RMB million in 2020. Furthermore, given the significant increase in the average time Chinese users spent on social media, according to Kagan's 2020 China Online Consumer Survey, and that the users of the WeChat boosted by 3.2% during the pandemic, it will have a bigger impact on WeChat than Alipay, since WeChat is more applied on social media services. The spread of COVID-19 has brought severe challenges to the survival of the domestic, small and medium-sized enterprises. According to the report of the China Association of SMEs, there has been a reduction in business income of nearly 67.69%, 21.6% cannot repay loans or other debts in time, 86.22% cannot survive on funds in their account for more than 3 months. 33.73% of the SMEs do not have enough funds to survive for 1 month. Then we will be exploring the company structure of Tencent. Tencent consists of 6 business groups. corporate and development group that promotes development and innovation in financial technology and advertising, including payment and financial applications. Second, Cloud and Smart Industry Group, which is responsible for promoting companies' cloud and industry internet strategy. Third, Interactive Entertainment Group, in charge of R&D operation, interactive entertainment, including games and esports. Fourth, Platform and Content Group that integrates social platforms. Fifth, Technology Engineering Group, that supports data centers and networking. And lastly, WeChat Group includes WeChat Pay and other WeChat open platform ecosystem. Since Tencent owns a wide range of products and services, our solutions to be further discussed will be mainly making use of existing resources in enhancing WeChat Pay. With China's aim to reach peak carbon by 2030 and become carbon neutral by 2060, companies including SMEs are transitioning to a low-carbon business model. In fact, capital flow in ESG-themed exchange trade fund investment in China increased 464% between 2018 and 2019. Yet China SMEs' ESG disclosure and score remains low, and the ESG market remains small due to lack of unified disclosure and requirement, data collection processes and personnel challenges, and a nascent market for ESG ratings. However, companies adopting ESG strategy is fundamental since Chinese consumers are very conscious about environmentally and socially friendly products when consuming. According to research, over 90% of Chinese consumers are aware of sustainable consumption, and the 5 phrases that consumers think of the most are waste classification, recycling, environmental protection, low carbon emission, and cooperative economy. Although the ESG market is still small, there is a positive trend of voluntary ESG reporting in China, including Tencent. Tencent's ESG strategy is guided by the company's long-established mission and vision, value for users, tech for good. The mission and vision is the driving force behind the incorporation of ESG considerations into their products, service, and business operations, including clean data centers, green workplaces, assistance for elders to participate in a digital world, fundraising platform, and privacy by design.
The core question is, how can WeChat Pay construct a win-win relationship with SMEs by building value-added services at competitive prices meeting the diverse needs? Understanding the challenges of SMEs, which are payment method challenge, payment confirmation challenge, business management challenge, and merchant security assurance challenge, WeChat Pay is to provide assistance to the SMEs through its own products and services and create value for the both. There are 5 key performance indicators. Firstly, growth and market share of WeChat Pay will be showing how well statistically the company is doing compared to its competitors. Furthermore, the number of partnerships with SMEs and consumers' satisfaction rate, which measures whether the service and overall experience exceeds the customer's expectation or falls short, are also key in determining the success of the business. This can be calculated using the customer satisfaction score. Digital gift turnover will depict the final performance. And lastly, user retention rate helps understand what factor keeps the customers with the company, and it also becomes a signal opportunity to improve customer service.
Now moving on to solution. In light of information advantages of WeChat and the current challenges SMEs are facing, Team Korea has devised 3 solutions: WeBridge, WeSafeguard, and WeGlobal, each adding value and attracting stakeholders. First solution is WeBridge. WeBridge is a bridge that between SMEs customers and SMEs in 2 ways: adaptations of payment notification feature and implementation of digital gift category. There are mainly 3 challenges that SMEs are confronting with. The first challenge being payment confirmation challenge, which is solved by payment notification feature. Second challenge being ESG challenge, where we combat it by adding digital gift category within WeChat Pay. Last challenge is payment method challenge, which was solved by providing training session. To elaborate with the first one, the first bridge is the payment notification feature. When SME customers make payments with WeChat Pay, both merchants and customers would receive payment notification through WeChat. However, considering a significant number of SME merchants are suffering with installing channels and familiarizing with instructions and manuals, Tencent would provide training sessions through WeCom, where Tencent employees instruct SME merchants procedures to install WeChat Pay's software development kit and WeChat official channels. Provide service instructions and manuals can be offered for ancillary service as well, such as to register your company to digital gift. So what are the advantages? With payment notification features, all WeChat SMEs and perceived customers has increased their perceived benefits. For customers, their perceived benefits increase as payment notification pay is an upgraded version of mobile phone voice confirmation. And for SMEs, they can save time and increase work efficiencies as they don't need to be holding their phones all day. They can also increase accuracy as merchants can keep track of payment data visually. Not only do they have such benefits, but it is cost efficient as well. As Tencent announced they would reduce commission fees on WeChat for SMEs by 10%, WeChat Pay was able to obtain comparative advantages in commission price compared to Alipay. For WeChat, they can maximize WeChat messaging and social networking platform by adding value to their existing form. The second bridge is digital gift function. WeChat Pay would create digital gift technology within its function library. This is followed by two steps. For Step 1, companies can register the digital gift category. In this step, both uploaded videos and periodical online real-time training sessions would be available to eliminate complexities in company registration. Step 2, WeChat Pay would advertise high products of SMEs with high ESG scores in compliance with monthly themes. For example, May is a family month, having Parents' Day. In this case, organic red ginseng, eco-friendly crayons, and buy one, donate one shoes would be advertised and recommended in digital gift section. So the benefits. For customers, they can emotionally connect more by sending gifts and love. And they can carry out ESG values, having more accessibility to value-conscious consumptions. For SMEs, they can improve its brand awareness and reputation by increased exposures to the customers, leading to boosting sales. For WeChat Pay, they could receive commission fee for company registration and promote ESG SMEs would fulfill corporate social responsibility, having a positive effect on ESG score assessment on the company itself.
The second solution is We Safeguard, which is a safety net for financial risks by adopting two main services. Business management challenge could be dealt with establishment of financial resource center. Also, merchant security assurance challenge could be mitigated by providing fraud detection system and 365 reporting system. The first system is a financial resource center, helping those who are not experienced in financial reporting. The center provides two main materials. First is resource material in video and documentation format, providing confidential financial guidance, money management education, ESG reporting guidelines. Second material is online financial counseling service, providing consumer credit counselor service, budgeting advice. This would be run by B2B freemium model. It classifies contents into basic and advanced. The former is simple instruction videos provided free of charge for all WeChat Pay merchants. The advanced content, such as hands-on financial reporting and counseling service, will require service fees depending on WeChat's expense. The first safeguard system benefit could be analyzed by three key performers. Customers would enjoy increased perceived benefit by the final consumer due to the cost reduction in merchant reporting costs. SMEs would save time, which is to save money. Time is indeed an invaluable resource for SMEs, which this center could help reduce. Third, WeChat Pay would earn additional profit from B2B freemium model. Now, moving on, the second service is twofold, a fraud detection system and 365 reporting system. Complementing SME's lack of technological resources, first is a fraud detection system to prevent fraudulent transactions beforehand. Financial transaction user log, transaction information data, and reported illegitimate transaction information would be collected, processed, and analyzed by machine learning and real-time behavioral analytics. Then the system would classify whether to approve, block, or require additional certification. The finally detected financial transaction would be applied to the algorithm and notified to the administrator and the users. Next, the 365 reporting system, the customers can either call or message to report financially illegitimate activities. On this backdrop, long-term benefits outweigh the cost in adopting two services. The direct benefit is preventing and handling digital financial accidents and frauds, and the implications apply for all SMEs, for customers, and for government and regulatory bodies. The third solution is named WeGlobal. Here, WeChat is going to increase the number of supported currencies and going to expand globally with their mini programs with the purpose of handling transition risks of globalization. First will be accomplished by strategic partnerships with Flit Technologies. Flit Technologies provide technology platforms that enable mobility players to operate any type of service associated with tourism, covering from taxi hailing, hospitality to booking travel agents. In 2019, WeChat Pay tried to strengthen their cross-border payment policies, recognizing their efforts to expand cross-border payment into more overseas markets and to support more currencies. So WeChat mini programs provide data monitoring tools, which are similar to Google Analytics. With this tool, WeChat would be able to gain customer insights. And based on these insights and data-driven analysis, WeChat would launch new services and come up with high-margin products. And as WeChat Go has partnership with high-end shopping in London, the London shopping centers could attract Chinese customers. And on the other hand, WeChat Go and WeChat Payment would increase overseas transaction, which will lead to increase in the revenue by transaction fees in abroad.
To evaluate, by successfully adopting WeChat Bridge, WeSafeguard, and WeGlobal strategies, the key core question could be resolved while considering the post-COVID impacts and ESG values. First, lowering the commission fee could cut costs and lead to a comparative advantage in price. Second, the business network could help construct diverse partnerships and loyalty increased as assessed through the customer loyalty measurement framework. Third, the adaptation to post-COVID trends and the future customer needs were fulfilled by improving efficiency and accuracy in digital payment, and additionally supporting more variety of currencies and going global with many programs catering to the potential rise in the tourism trend. Moreover, with the current trend of increasing interest towards the ESG model, our strategies could be met all aspects of environment, social, and governance. Promoting ESG products and companies by adding digital gift value and advertisement, financial safety nets could enhance SME merchants' performance and government compliance. In conclusion, WeChat Pay and SMEs would be able to hold hands throughout the three solutions. Win-win relationships will be formed among the WeChat Pay and the SMEs, and WeChat Pay could be offering solutions that create value of ESG. Thank you for listening to our presentation. This was Team Korea.
Okay, thank you, Team Korea, for your presentation. I would now like to invite the judges to ask questions. Judges, please go ahead.
Maybe I'll start first. Hi, Team Korea. This is Calvin here. Thank you for the presentation. I'd like to just ask you on the cost analysis. Have you done any cost analysis and in terms of incremental revenues and all that on that front? How much of capex are you going to spend on this, right? And also, what are sort of the potential new revenues that have you considered in terms of expanding the service? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we have heard you. To answer the question, we did the cost analysis. We especially put more focus on like the commission fees, and try to put like comparative advantage on it. And because like we focus a lot on like the strategies, we weren't able to put a lot of cost perspective in terms of our presentation.
Okay, I note that you talk about commission fees, but I think your recommendation is to reduce commission fees, right? To increase market share, right? Am I right? Yeah, okay. But I mean, with the reduction in commission fees, it'd be good if you can have views on what sort of incremental volumes you're going to get and all that to compensate for the reduction in commission fees. And thereafter, also to look at it from a capex requirements in terms of expanding this program. All right, but I hear you. So you looked at it from that point. I'm curious to know, there was a focus on internationalization and globalization, right? And you talked about the fact that consumers can buy things from London. Am I right? Was an example you've given. But this solution was to talk about helping SMEs in China. How does that help SMEs in China if consumers from China are buying from London or globally?
Thank you for your question. May I answer that question? For SMEs, we thought that incorporating SMEs, especially in the niche market, could help this solution work. So in the presentation, we said that we would use WeChat payment in order to make overseas transactions, and this incorporated actually SMEs who were partnering with WeChat payment also. So SMEs who were registered as channels to our WeChat payment, such as small enterprises, such as even small as making shopping bags, or larger SMEs like touring agents or providing touring management companies are all incorporated in our WeChat payment method and WeChat chatting system. So when we mentioned that WeChat payment is going overseas, we were referring to all of the system altogether going to the overseas.
Sorry, I
May I add on to the question? So since China is a country where the country does a lot of exports to countries all over the world, we thought that even though the original product is coming from London, there might be other raw materials that going in from China that are made in China. So we thought that even though it is not directly related, it might give a larger opportunity in the future for our SMEs.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. In the presentation, you mentioned about the SME challenges. I hear you saying something about payment confirmation, ESG, and what was the third one?
We talked about payment method and payment notification challenges and ESG.
I see. Okay. So why do you think SME are facing ESG problem among all these problems that are having? Why do you think ESGs are top in their mind?
Mostly because, thank you for the question, first of all. And the reason why we thought that ESG would be one of the key challenges that SMEs are facing is because the Chinese government are implementing a lot of regulations regarding environmental and social and governance sectors. And thus we thought that it would be very advantageous for the SMEs to consider this sector. And thus, we also thought that with the help of WeChat Pay, the SMEs would be able to be motivated to become more ESG friendly or eco-friendly company.
May I add one point to that, to my colleague's answer? So the one of the other reasons that we picked ESG as our core theme was because ESG was such a compelling trend that even the government is pursuing for it, and the global world, the world altogether is pursuing for ESG trend as the major driver, the major solution for the global climate change crisis. And if we are not prepared for this ESG trend, then we will face substantial transition risk of ESG in the future. So we would like to prepare beforehand, and it's currently now ESG trend also, but we would like to prepare beforehand for the upcoming ESG boom. Thank you.
Okay.
Also, like to add on, since not only for consumers in China, consumers all over the world are very conscious about like the ESG products, which are environmentally and socially friendly products, when consuming and when choosing the products they are consuming.
Okay, so before you start the presentation, you use the grandma who's growing red ginseng, to kickstart the presentation. Can you tell me, I mean, what is ESG relating to this grandma, and how does this business case or solution help her? What does she need to do, or what does Tencent need to do to help her?
Thank you for the question. To answer your question, the reason why we started our presentation with a scenario is because from the case that we were given, we found out that there were a lot of merchants who were very elderly and were having difficulties of using the IT technologies. And through research, we found out that most of the economic transactions were done by QR codes. So we thought that elderlies have trouble coming up with a trend, and by stating that the WeChat Pay is a trend and that she can get help from the WeChat Pay and Tencent employee through like training sessions that we have suggested, she can also easily use the products and services that is provided by Tencent, especially the WeChat Pay. Thank you.
I wanted to ask the group because the SME market is really quite big, right? So there are some companies which hire a lot of employees. They are into exporting, but there are some which are really just small stores as well. So the solution that you're providing, is it catering to any specific segment, or would it apply to all? What's the, I guess, if you were to choose, or if you were to walk us through how you're going to implement it, how is it going to work in the entire SME market?
Thank you for the question. For us, we thought of the small and medium enterprises that has quite a few number of employees. Since as we have mentioned, we have focused on advertisement, and if the company have to pay for the commission fee, we thought that they would need to have a certain amount of financial support in order to use our Tencent Pay. So our team's targeted SME would be medium-sized enterprises.
Okay, and when you say medium size, you also said these are companies which have very small number of employees. Is that correct?
I'm sorry. Could you rephrase the question? I couldn't hear.
No, sorry. Because at first you said that you were targeting companies with very small number of employees, but also you said that you're targeting the medium enterprises in SMEs. So just wanted to clarify, when you say medium, you also refer to companies which have very small number of employees?
We believe that it is correct.
Okay. so I guess in relation to that, because the case also mentioned that for very small companies, they don't have time, right? So much, which is one of the pain points for the business owners. So going back to the grandma story. I mean, how do we make time for small business owners such as her? Do you really think there's scope to train them to speak to someone with Tencent to educate them? How are you seeing doing that, given that the same market that you're targeting don't have a lot of time?
I believe that that's why we have created the training session, because if we don't create the training session, then they would Tencent and WeChat Pay would have spent more time receiving calls about how to use the products or their manuals and instructions and so on. So we believe that it rather saves time for both merchants of the SMEs and the company itself.
And I guess lastly, just to round up the point on the small businesses, how does the platform support, for example, some of the smaller businesses in the provinces in China, where people don't know how people are not so savvy in terms of internet and mobile use, including access to internet. How can they benefit from the solution?
May I? In this case, I believe in the training session, we didn't mention specifically in the slide, but we were considering both online and offline services. So, for example, Tencent has great capital, and it also has offline branches over in the China mainland. So we thought we could use the parenting company Tencent's hardware, its offline service centers, to utilize it for training sessions and to provide IT skills and knowledges for people who are not knowledgeable about that service. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions? We have time for one short question.
If we may, could we go back to the first question and further elaborate our answer, please? So the first question was about cost analysis revenues and how we could reduce the commission fee while maintaining high quality and having profitability. So what we perceived was that reducing the commission fee was not that feasible. So when we came up with that, maximizing the benefit. So we would maximize the perceived benefit in the eyes of the final consumer, so that we could we could reduce the cost alongside all of the stages in the value chain, so that we can maximize the benefit when we do the cost benefit analysis, we would have the same cost, but with increased benefit, our solution would be feasible and applicable to the SMEs.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Team Korea. I would now like to ask the students to move to the waiting room, where you will wait while the judges deliberate. Once the judges have finished deliberating, they will invite you back into the room to receive feedback. So, students, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.